Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to On Point. This is just an elk episode recap of my dad's rifle hunt in Houston, Oregon. Really special episode for me because it's the first time that me, my brother, and my dad have all hunted elk together in Eastern Oregon, hunted together, period, in Eastern Oregon together. And just a really lot of firsts for me. Plus, it was my birthday, and we got a bull on the ground. Just a very special episode all around for me. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's just a elk recap, and outside of that, just a fun episode. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't yet, be sure to go on to www.onpointpodcast.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Pretty low on hat inventory, so if you haven't bought a hat yet, you want to buy a hat or get somebody a Christmas present, we have a few of the orange ones in stock and a few of the camo ones in stock, and that is it. So if you want to do that, be sure to use code free shipping upon checkout. And yeah, that's about it. So appreciate everybody listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
We done? Nice. Well, good sound check.
Well, perfect. It's like 6:30, and we're Gavin's about to pass out.
And then we're going to watch a bad movie.
And then we're going to watch a horrible movie that I get to pick out.
You can pick out any one of them. You can watch the same one we did last night.
Pick out one from the movie of the disc that has 8 movies on one disc.
Yeah, and like you pointed out earlier, none of them are winners because there's 8 DVDs on one DVD.
And it was $3.
That's why you got to watch like at least 3 of them
to get your money's worth.
And be drunk.
Yeah, well, a few more beers, I can make that happen pretty easily.
And Gavin's going to be out anyways.
Yeah,
so.
I'm pretty medicated.
So, well, I wanted to get you guys on and talk about the hunt and be able to just kind of recap everything.
It's over.
It's over. It was pretty quickly over. A couple hours, we're done. So, it took us longer to drive here than it did to kill an elk.
To kill it and get it back to the camp.
Took us twice as long to drive here and half as long to kill an elk.
I'm not good at math.
I'm horrible at math.
So, okay.
Yes.
Well, it took us, 9 hours to get here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had it shot and back to camp in 4.
Yep.
4, yeah. Well, so let's just, I guess we kind of give a little bit of a backstory. We were talking as we were, I think, was it when we were processing the bull? We've never hunted over here all 3 together. All 3 of us. Dad and my brother. That's kind of weird. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's regardless of killing elk or not, that's just kind of a bonus. That's
special.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean,
yeah.
It is. So
when you're that old, you don't have many years left.
Yeah.
Got to take what you can get.
But no, I like this stuff. So even the camping, trying to set up by the fire even when it's too cold and windy, or watching bad movies, or.
Well, we were saying that you and Garrett have elk hunted together, and then you and I have elk hunted together, but not all 3.
Mm-mm. No.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's just, Dad doesn't like hunting with other people. I'm a social hunter, and I kind of like hunting on my own, or doing my own thing. And I started archery hunting, and no one else really archery hunts in the family. So it's kind of weird how it just worked out, but it took 30 years, but we finally made it happen.
Well, and this is special, too. It's your birthday, so.
It's true.
30 years old.
It was a good birthday. I posted a video earlier. I was talking to your bull, cow calling, and then about 10 minutes after the video, you kill the bull. I'm like, how cool of a birthday is this? I got to talk to a bull, got to kill a bull, or watch my dad kill a bull, pack a bull out, then went back to town, got wings and pizza. Gavin got chicken fried steak. And then you got clam chowder.
I let the dice roll on that one, but it was good.
600 miles from the ocean, and we just got clam chowder.
Right.
I asked her where they got the clams from, and not much response, but.
It would be funny if she said the river.
Under the house.
But, let's kind of give a recap of this and kind of go over what happened. So you drove over how many days ago?
I came over Sunday, but this started in the planning stages months ago.
Well, you said, if I put in for this tag, will you go over there with me?
Yeah.
I said, yes. And that's where it started.
Yep. And so fast forward to Sunday, which was like the 20th, I guess, or something like that of October. I drove over with the trailer, found a spot the next day because there was too much snow where I wanted to go. Got a little camp set up and scouted for 2 days, and it was so nasty. I think the elk were all caked up. And no tracks, no elk, no anything. And then, of course, today the weather changed completely. The snow had melted.
Right.
And I think that helped the elk hunting situation.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean.
Well, it was super windy. Super windy.
Yeah.
I think we all got windburnt today. I don't know if Gavin did. I don't know how you didn't get windburnt if you Dad
I sat
did.
under that tree for like
Did you?
5 hours. I didn't. I stayed under one tree.
But so yeah, you come over here. What Sunday? You said scout for a couple days. Don't see an elk.
Yeah.
And then Gavin and I bomb over here, and that evening we see elk because
10 cows.
Right, which you actually spotted, and then figured out where we were going to go in the morning, which wasn't where those cows were. And kind of just made a game plan, I guess. But I kind of want to get into what you're using because I want people to know that it's not an archery hunt. Give them an idea of what you're using for your gun and your load and stuff.
Well, I'm shooting a 300 Weatherby and a Model 70 Winchester. It's got the classic action on it, muzzle brake. I'm shooting an old Ultimate Illuminator 3-10 Redfield. I'm shooting 180 grain partition Nosler bullets with 78 grains of 78-28. And I feel real confident out to 400 yards until adrenaline kicks in, and then you can cut that in half maybe. It's like, for example, the bull. I made a good shot today, the initial shot, and then he ran off, but he was dead on his feet, and then I was trying to end it quickly and shot a few more times. And
we'll get into that.
I know.
It's pretty cool when you can make a bolt action a semi-auto.
I've been accused of that a couple times.
This is going to be an ongoing theme throughout this podcast.
Yes.
I'm going to be nice.
That and ethics.
And ethics.
Yeah, because it starts by us parking our rig last night.
Yeah, and I know some guys would have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Right there. So, I mean, we found out where we wanted to hunt. There's a lot of no motorized vehicle roads around here, and so we decided to. We got 2 trucks. I'll park my truck there and try and keep somebody out for in the morning. We could be there at 3 in the morning if we wanted to, but I don't know. We just decided to park the rig there, and some guys will probably have a problem with that. Some guys, that's normal.
Well, it's not with the intent not to hunt the spot. And it wasn't to hunt it later and not have it at first light. We were there at first light.
Before first light. We
were
there
actually there
hour and a half early.
Yeah. Before daylight.
Yeah. So we go there. There's a truck parked in front of my truck. not just behind it. He pulled around me and then parked there. And turns out it was a gentleman from actually like right next to where we live in the nearby town. And they had been literally scouting and saw, the same things we did, and were wanting to literally had the same exact game plan we did. And so, we're like, well, all of our chips are in this spot, and let's figure it out. So we actually approached them, and luckily it was it worked out really well. I will say it worked out about as best as it could. I don't think anybody was excited about the situation, which is fair.
But it's public land.
Yeah,
too.
no one wants to hunt, 9 hours away from home to hunt with strangers, But I don't know. I wasn't excited about the situation, and Tim and his buddy weren't, I'm sure, excited either. But we all made it work. We were all nice, and I think didn't we walk out? We waited for him.
Yep, we went back and talked to him.
We went back, talked to him. We all agreed to wait till daylight and walk in together. And then he had a 2,000-yard gun, a 33 XC or whatever the hell he called that thing. But he was an extremely long-range shooter, and here we are with a 400-yard gun. And so we're at a severe disadvantage. But we made it work, and we all went out there together. And I don't feel like anybody was walking over each other or anything. It was pretty calm, cool.
As good as it could have been.
best case scenario for a bad scenario, for a worst case scenario.
Yeah, especially on public land.
Yeah.
It could have gone the other way, though, had you been confrontational, or us
Right.
or them, been confrontational at the get-go.
Right. Well, I can see both sides of the story. We had a truck parked there, but yet we didn't commit by sleeping in the truck. And then on their end, hey, you parked a dummy truck here. How do we know you weren't hunting it? Or how we beat you here technically? So I can see both ends of the coin. But so we talked to them and basically hunted together for first couple hours of the morning, I think.
No, because for about the first hour.
Hour.
Yeah, because we killed the bull an hour and a half into the hunt.
That's true. So we walk out to this big point where we were all going to glass. We literally had the same, like I said, the same game plan, except his was to shoot about 4 times farther as us. But so I guess I'll let Gavin take it from there because you're the one that located the bull.
Yeah, I just sat down in my little glass tree and was the only person. So everyone kind of moved on and kept making laps because we hadn't seen anything. And then I heard a faint bugle. And I'm not one to be in the woods during archery season hearing a ton of bugles, but I went over real quick and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a bull. Like, that's definitely a bugle. I don't think it's a hunter. And we actually gathered up the other guys.
Yeah, we all went over there together.
Yeah, the whole group. Everyone came over together. Everyone glassed for it. And then we couldn't pick him up. And he didn't bugle again when everyone came over. It was kind of like...
No, which is really weird.
It's kind of like, hey, yeah, my car makes this noise. I take it to the mechanic. And
I asked you, I'm like, you sure it's not a hunter? And you're like, yeah, pretty sure.
Pretty sure. What'd he do? He went like this and then went chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's an elk. And so...
and I'm thinking, yeah, no hunter out there can sound like that. Bugle, chuckle, chuckle, chuckle.
I was like, it's definitely an elk. But, yeah, it was cool because it was so faint. But I was like, I'm pretty sure that was a bugle.
Yeah. And so a while goes by because I go back and after not seeing anything, everybody was over there glassing. So I go back over because I'm like, why is everybody glassing off the same spot off of almost a 360 point? So I just kept trying to spread out from everybody and kind of be a loner and glass. And then eventually you guys come over and get...
You and I went over first.
Yeah, and I think you said, let's go after that bugle. We haven't seen an elk.
Yeah.
Actually, Gavin spotted 2 more near another hunter.
And a herd.
The other guy spotted those moving up, and then I spot right when you guys came back over to me to go over the bugle, right after you left, I spotted another herd.
Right.
And I texted. I didn't get a response, but as soon as you guys were out of my sight, that bull bugled again, and I was like, oh, I just hope they heard it that time because now I'm not crazy.
Right.
No, you're still crazy.
Well, at this
not
point,
because of the bugle part.
At this point, I was sitting on the very end of the point, and I could see almost all of it. And I picked out one hunter, I picked out another hunter, and another hunter. 3 separate hunters.
Well, and something we kind of skipped by.
All coming towards us, by the way.
Not only were our 2 trucks there and this other guy's, another guy pulled up in a truck, walked up there that wasn't even actually hunting.
He was a spotter.
Yeah, and walked right in the middle of us out on the point. I mean, we talked to him.
Nice guy, apparently. I never talked to him.
Yeah, I went up, shook his hand, talked to him for a little bit just to try to keep the peace. But it's like,
what the hell are you doing?
You didn't notice the other 3 trucks you parked by, and it's a single lane blocked off road. It's not like there's
not
other
like a
options.
highway.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. What are you doing up here?
Right.
He was a nice enough guy.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry to digress, but that's part of it though.
That's part of public land.
Yeah, I just don't see me doing that. I don't like. No offense, I don't like people when I'm hunting.
Encroaching kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I get it.
I'm married to people, and I got people that are kids, but I don't like them out there when I'm hunting.
I would just never say, oh, there's 3 rigs here already. I should probably pull in.
This must be a good spot.
Yeah. I want to walk up.
It turns out it was.
It's not like fishing Diamond Lake where you can just go anchor by somebody.
Right.
That's right.
40 boats, and you're going to be another one.
Well, you spotted a couple cows, and then
spike.
Right after that, I'm like, right over there, and so I'm looking. I'm like, oh, there's a hunter going right towards where you're telling me those elk were on that bald spot. And so, and then the guys that we were with, Tim and his buddy, had other guys working their way towards us.
Yeah, they were across from where we were glassing on that burnt, cleared hillside. They were over there.
Well, they were over there.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of hunters in a very small area.
There was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, At least 11 of us.
11
Well, there's 6 of us just on the point.
Yeah.
Well, there's I don't know, 10 different tag holders in that little spot. I mean, there had to be a ton of guys in there. And so anyways, really high pressured area apparently. And so we're like, well, we got nothing else to go after. Dad wants to go after the bugle, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I brought my bugle. I got a cow call, and I forgot my mouth reed in the truck, so I'm down to using a hand call for mouth call for a cow, and let's just go see. And so we went over there, picked up my pack, and headed over to where that bull was bugling in the bottom, and he fired off by himself right when we got.
Yep.
And above him.
That was cool.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking, okay, that's definitely sounds like a bull. It's not somebody, and he's been there since daylight, which is not something a hunter would do. And then so I'm like, okay, let's definitely go after that bull. And we try calling him in, setting up like we're archery hunting. I have you about 80 yards in front of me on a big clearing, and I go back into a thicket. And about every cow call he would answer, just one or two mews, he'd call right back, and then he wouldn't move, he wouldn't budge. And so I'm like, well, quit making this hard on ourselves. Why don't you just walk up and kill it?
Well, you said it a little.
I said it with
more
a little
colorful.
Yeah, I was like, why don't you go walk up there and kill that son of a nutcracker? And so yeah, basically, I said I'll just basically be. I'll wait for you to get to the bottom, get the wind right, and then every couple minutes I'll bugle, so kind of like a blip on your radar kind of thing. You'll just walk right up into him and shoot him. And that's pretty much, well, I'll let you take it from there, but that's pretty much what happened, yeah?
Yeah, so he couldn't call them to me, or they wouldn't come. I went down there, and the wind was questionable, so I had to cut down to the left a little bit and come back on him. So I knew I was getting a little further away from the bull initially, and then I was going to angle back, get the wind. And I got across this mess of a thinning. They left all the trees on the ground, tough to get through. And the wind was still okay. And so I came up on this old road you can't drive on or anything. It's just an old road bed or whatever. And I started to come up over the top, and I saw elk hide. And it turned out to be actually 3 cows. So I set my shooting sticks down. They were feeding from right to left. And Garrett was calling, and I could hear the bull, but he was about 100 yards to the right, it sounded like. And so I'm waiting for elk to cross, and I don't want the bull to do anything else, so I was texting Garrett. I was pinned down by some cows, and my next text was going to be, stop calling. And about that time, I looked a little bit to my left, and there was a small herd of elk, I don't know, 6 or 8 elk, I guess, looking at me about 125 yards away. Through some trees, and they were actually standing behind some pretty thick ones.
So you're busted.
I'm busted. They're looking at me, and I'm got my damn phone in my hand. So I shove it in my pocket real quick, and I look up there, and I'm looking through the trees, and I can see there's at least one bull there. And he's not a Boone and Crockett or anything, which that's fine.
Right.
So Garrett's still calling the bull that I was after, still calling, but he's not the one I'm looking at. So I have a choice to make. I can either try to go get the other one, which we think was probably a 6-point, or at least I do. I think it was a 6-point that the guys had seen.
Yeah, we heard there was a big 330 bull in there, and that was probably him.
But I don't know that for a fact.
Could have been a spike.
Yeah. So you weigh the advantages. Do I leave this legal bull to go search for one that you may not see? So it took about that long to make the decision. Mm-hmm. And so I put the sticks down, put the gun up there, had it on like 3.5 power, and he was standing there in the trees, and I could see enough of him to shoot about 125 yards, and I hit him, and then the whole herd started running to the right, so I shot once more fairly soon, and hit him one more time, and then he went 75 yards and fell down, or maybe a little more than that, clear across that opening, however far that was. And so it was kind of rounded, and I could see him on the ground. He wasn't dead yet. And I tried to end it quickly, So I shot like 5 times, 6 times maybe total. I don't know what it was.
We'll just say 6 total.
Okay.
I think we're being conservative, so 6 is good.
It could be.
How many times did you reload, sir?
I got a 30-round clip. What do you mean?
Sounded like it.
No, but so anyways, the first shot was fatal. It hit him
right through. I think you probably you decimated the liver.
Yeah.
But you got lung blood in there too. There was bubbles coming out.
Yeah, dead on his feet.
Yeah, I mean he was a little high, like 2 inches high, but dead all day long within a minute.
But I was trying to speed up the process. And of course, adrenaline kicks in, and I probably get as excited or maybe more than anybody. And if I didn't, I wouldn't hunt. It would be a shame to kill something if it was just routine and that was that. So anyways, and so I know it happened quickly because the whole thing from the time I shot to the time I got up at camp only lasted 4 hours. Everything.
Right.
So I went up and actually found the bull because he was there. I mean, I saw him fall. Put my gun there and kind of called for the boys to come down and told them I had blood. Garrett called bullshit. So, and got a hold of Gavin. And rest is history. Everybody came down.
Yeah. Well, that bull probably bugle. How many times did that bull bugle?
Probably 30.
At least, yeah. I was going to say every 2 minutes for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
But
it was
17.
A lot.
Yeah, it was actually
plus the ones when we didn't bugle, too.
because he was doing it on his own, too.
Yeah. What's crazy is that he didn't bugle, like you said, when we all went over there with Tim and those guys.
It's not a bad thing.
I'm thinking it happened for a reason at this point.
It doesn't make sense why he just shut up right then.
Well, and he only did one, that first one I heard, and then he didn't do another one for an hour.
And I would have loved to have seen what kind of a bull it was, whether it was a spike or a 380 or whatever. I'd love to have seen it, but I wasn't about to walk away from.
Well, when you're talking about shooting a spike, the one that you did shoot, you'd be crazy to pass it up.
You got a lot more meat. I still got horns at home that are on the wall that haven't been eaten yet, so I'm not about to start that.
Right.
And honestly, I may or may not ever draw this tag again because I love my muzzleload hunting. And this was fun. Don't get me wrong.
This was a good hunt. It was I would say easy terrain.
But there's just a lot of people, and I'm not.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. If I go muzzleloading, I'm lucky to see 3 or 4 rigs and nobody out of their rig.
Right. No one wants to get out and deal with the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just fine with me.
And you don't have to drive 9 hours.
Yeah. But I love this country over here. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It is. We have a beautiful, beautiful view of the Eagle Caps just covered in snow over here, and it is gorgeous. I mean,
and the yellow tamaracks.
Yeah, I've never been over here when the tamaracks have changed.
They are pretty.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
They're gold or yellow. I guess yellow.
Yeah, like a yellow, like a maple leaf yellow.
Yeah, maybe even brighter.
Yeah, really cool.
And I would suggest this hunt to anybody that at least once, come over. Even if you don't have a tag, come over to somebody that does. Because, it's good country. It's fun.
Yeah. But, so you used to use AccuBonds. Why aren't you using those on this hunt?
I have AccuBonds. I have a couple hundred loaded up for it, actually, and I have a couple hundred of the partition. Well,
That's only 3 seasons.
That's only like 3 elk.
Hey, now. 8-shot Canyon.
Hey, at least I know where I get it from now.
Yeah.
So I have a bow.
But I sighted my rifle in. I went deer hunting in Eastern Oregon. Spent, I think, 9 days over there.
Killed a nice 4-point.
Killed a nice 4-point. I don't know whether the partition would have made a difference or not, but I think maybe they hold together better, and it possibly could have. Shot placement is a lot to do with it. But the AccuBonds, I shot it before I came over, and to be honest with you, when it started shooting, the groups are not that great. They're like 4 or 5 inches, and I couldn't figure it out. But as I went on, the AccuBonds sighted in about 3 inches high, and they were touching, and the partitions sighted in inch high, and they were touching, 3-round shot groups. So I had them under an inch. So I did not clean the rifle before I come over. I mean, I like to keep my rifles in good shape and clean. But it seems to shoot better with a little,
right?
A few rounds down the barrel. And I use the partition because I've actually used those longer than the AccuBonds, and they have worked well. But partitions, I think.
Well, you were using partitions before the AccuBonds even came out when I was a kid, and then I remember when the AccuBonds came out, we switched.
Well,
right.
The driving part was, and sometimes you get what you pay for, is they were a lot less money.
Right.
And that's not a good reason to. You shouldn't go cheap when you're hunting. You do it once a year. You should
Right.
go the best. I would still use AccuBonds, but I honestly think partitions are probably better for bigger game like elk. I think they're
Really?
fine for deer, the AccuBonds. But I think
see. I don't know why, but I don't want to get into it too much. But I just had too many problems with the AccuBonds not expanding.
Well,
on 4 deer in a row. It was like you were shooting lasers.
Did you notice the exit hole on this elk though?
It was pretty good. It wasn't like giant.
No, but it was.
It was a good exit wound. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it went through and through right where you'd want to maybe.
Right. Yeah.
An AccuBond, I don't know that would have done that. To be honest with you, I think it would have
Exploded or.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
And that's just my experience. And
Some guys like that. Some guys don't want the bullet retention.
the AccuBond shoots about 2 inches higher at 100 than the partition. But both of them grouped within an inch. 3-shot groups, less than an inch. And so I left the rifle there. I didn't clean it. I didn't change anything. And so I think that's important. Make sure you know what your rifle's doing when it's clean versus when it's had a few rounds down the barrel.
Right. Right. Well, so you you get the elk. Tried starting World War III.
Well, yeah, that's pretty. To be honest with you, it was about 200 yards offhand. I could barely see him over the rise of the hill, and I couldn't.
You're sick for 2 weeks. Had butters on your fingers.
Yep, I couldn't sit down because I couldn't see him, and I was trying to finish him off humanely, quickly.
Right.
And he died without me doing anything else to him.
Right.
Right there.
Right.
And so it would have saved 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But at the time, I'm feeling like, because I do respect the animals I hunt, and I want them to not suffer if I can help it any longer than they have to.
No, I get it. I mean, if I can put another arrow and help the animal expire quicker, I am all for it. And elk, I've always heard, the way you raised, if you still moving, you shoot.
Yeah.
Like elk are tough. That you don't want to get them back up on you. And if it's still moving around, you shoot.
And like I say, it was roughly 200 yards, and I had to stand up because I could barely see him even standing up, just the rise of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And he was flopping around pretty good. No excuse maybe, but I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take anything back.
I think you should have shot it in the other 2 legs. That way you would have been perfect.
I might have been.
You would have shot 100%.
Which leg did he miss?
The middle one.
Well, you got the
ham.
You got the front one and I don't know what right or left, but he got one front, one back. He was missing 2 legs.
The elk, or
no? He should have shot for 100%. Just hit all 4.
Yeah. Next time, that's why you get the tag again. Right. So, but anyways, in the end, he ended up dead and hanging in our meat tree.
Yes, he did. Yes,
and
he did.
It's a better looking tree than Christmas tree. I even took a picture of it.
So hindsight, would you put in for this tag again?
I don't know. Don't like hunting around this many people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here.
But
for guys that are wondering, I'm not gonna spill the unit on that because that just pisses people off. So, I mean, I've given you enough clues about looking at the eagle caps. So, if you can't figure it out using that, then
yeah. But
I don't know.
If you come over here, it's like hunting. If you're from around the Roseburg area, Coos Bay or whatever, it's like hunting Tioga first season rifle hunt. And I don't do that. I haven't done that for 30 years.
And I don't hunt that tag either.
I don't. But if this is a hunt that you don't mind the people, I think there are a fair amount of elk.
Uh-huh.
This year, not as many as most from the people I've talked to. But in most years, I think you have a pretty good chance.
I agree.
But this year, they're a little light in numbers for whatever reason. And but so I'm not saying I wouldn't. I just would have a hard time just because of the amount of people. I love my muzzleload hunting.
So I feel like you have a really good chance of killing a bull over here. So you would rather be in a less elk populated area, but also have less people, than be in a high elk populated area and have a better chance of killing one and be around more people.
Well, for example, where we're camped, when I came over, I didn't know the area. I'd never been to Enterprise. And where I wanted to camp, there was 8 inches of snow to come in almost at dark. And I was pulling a 24-foot travel trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost got tangled up there just turning around because I knew I didn't want to go in there. And I came back and I parked alongside the main road and slept the night there because I didn't know where to go. The next morning, I found a spot much lower and close to the highway. And it was a nice spot, grassy, and had a meat pole already. So I pulled in there and parked there. And then, of course, you guys showed up. But here's an example of why I don't like a lot of people. We're parked in this spot. It's a beautiful spot. This camper pulls in late Tuesday, I guess it was. Yeah, the day before the season, like at, 6 o'clock or whatever, just before dark.
Yeah.
And they're literally 50 feet away. And understand this is a big country. There's other spots that I thought about camping at on the way in here that would have been a nice spot. But it's a free public land. But they let their generator run.
Yeah, I knew he was going to somehow work that in.
All frickin' night. I mean, not just for a couple hours, but it ran from the time they got here until we left. It may still be running, as far as I know.
You would have thought they kicked his best dog.
Must have a 200-gallon gas tank. But anyways.
This generator is grown legs. I'm laughing because of the folks that are like, why is he laughing? This generator thing has grown legs because it's all we've heard about the last.
Well, I couldn't sleep because of it. I get cranky.
Yeah, me and Gavin both were on like 2 hours of sleep, and so we fell right asleep, and apparently you didn't get any sleep.
But like I said, there were a whole slew of other options that were good spots.
Yeah.
But he chose a spot literally within 50 feet of us, and that would have been okay had it not been for the generator. But he was just inconsiderate. Maybe he doesn't know any better. I don't know. Maybe he was raised by wolves. I don't know.
It's a Honda. It's pretty quiet.
Yeah, well, we may have to do a gun check tonight about 2 o'clock.
Scare some coyotes off your meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, as far as hunting this, it's beautiful country, and I think in most years there's pretty good opportunity, but if you don't like hunting around people, don't come.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't pass up a spike, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, people aren't going to know what unit you're talking about.
Yeah. So. And that's fine. But I would love it if somebody else got a tag and it came over. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd do that. As far as me personally, I love my muzzleloader hunting late because I don't hardly see anybody. I see lots of elk.
Right. You guys, we should try and get together and hunt again over here. This was fun.
All it takes is one person get a tag. So, like we talked about earlier, is you get 4 or 5 people and each of them put in individually.
Yeah.
1 or 2 may get a tag because it's not extremely hard, and it's in the realm of possibility that somebody's going to draw a tag, and then you all go over and have a good time.
Yeah. Well,
I just don't know if it can be me either for the muzzleloader part.
You just want to stick with the muzzleloader?
Probably, so it'd be my wife putting in. And you're not going to put in because of muzzleloader.
I don't know. I can see him coming back over here. I feel like this is one of those hunts that you need to let it cook for about a month and then reflect back on it. And then you're like, yeah, I'd do that again. I feel like that's where you're at. Like, I'm not going to say it was a hard hunt. I'm not going to say it was a great hunt or a bad hunt, but it was good enough.
Well, it's bad when the challenge is other people instead of the elements or the animal you're after. When the challenge is trying to figure out what the other person's going to do, that just takes the fun out of it.
Well, to contrast that, what about your mule deer? There's a lot of people over there where you mule deer hunt, and you go back over there every year.
Yeah, that's true. As a matter of fact, when I was parked hour and a half before daylight, a guy pulled up on a four-wheeler at the end of a dead-end road knowing that this is where I was going to hunt. And it's like, But, the bright side is the people that we were up with this morning actually ended up killing a nice 5x6.
I felt like a dick because they come over here, they visit us, right? We had a cordial morning. Everybody got along. And they come over here and they come over to see your bull because they heard us, we kill one. And I spout out, hey, if you guys get one, drive it back down here. I'm like, hey, well, we'll come get you to help pack it out. I'm like, I got a pack, yeah, absolutely. Well, 20 minutes after that, I'm like, man, pizza sounds good. I like pizza. Pizza for my birthday sounds pretty good. And then so and I like to go get better service so I can go check in with everybody and talk to Kim and reply to people on Facebook and stuff like that. Wish me happy birthday. And so we left, and they showed up back to our camp at half an hour after 40 minutes. They killed that thing right after they left.
Yeah, within a half hour.
And wanted help packing it out. It's like, shit. I promise I didn't plan on, not being available if you guys needed me, but
But
yeah,
who knew you were going to kill an elk within a half hour?
Yeah, man. I mean,
They didn't need help on that pack.
it was a 200-yard pack to the road apparently, so I don't feel too bad. But at the same time, I offered, and then I wasn't here when they when they wanted to help. So,
But at least it turned out well for everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
what started it could have gone a 180. I mean, frankly,
yeah,
I mean, if you find a guy's quote unquote parked in quote your spot, tempers could flare. And that's that way in life. Anything it's how you handle the situation you're dealt. It's you can handle it poorly, you can handle it with communication.
right. I've ran into these situations quite a bit for whatever reason, and communication always has helped for me. It's been way better. No, it takes the edge off. Like everybody knows what everybody's planning on doing, and you're not trying to undercut or beat somebody to something. You're now understanding what each other's doing, and potentially even now working together, or not going to screw somebody intentionally or unintentionally.
Well, it's like, I told you boys growing up too, but if you're nice to people first and give them the opportunity to do the same, you're already ahead. If you start off being a dick,
Mm-hmm.
chances are you're not ever going to get past that, or they won't.
Right.
So you can always be a dick later. I mean, you still got that card to play,
But you can't go back to being
but
nice.
you can't go back to being nice very easily.
Right.
So anyways, like I said, this hunt is a pretty country and all that. It's just there's just more people than I'm used to hunting with.
There's a lot. I mean, it's a small area.
Well, there was, if you count that guy with the cane, there were 6 people where we thought we were going to be alone. But there were 6 people on that little knob.
Right.
So, if you're okay with that, this is probably the hunt for you.
Yeah.
If you're not, go somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I think Gavin's about to fall asleep. That Tylenol PM is kicking in.
I'm good, just listening.
This isn't a podcast that you listen to. It's a podcast that you talk on.
Oh,
If you fall asleep, you're going to
Yeah.
paint your face up.
my favorite part of the whole hunt was just sitting up there under the tree, hearing you cow call, and then hear the bull bugle, and then like, okay, well, he should be 15 yards closer.
Yeah.
Hear the cow call, hear the bugle, closer,
I-
closer, and I was just expecting the shot for what felt like forever.
An hour. I felt like it
It
was.
felt like a long time. Like,
Oh
this
my
bull
God.
needs to get
But
killed.
the funny part was when Garrett was calling and he was taping it on it or whatever on his phone, whatever you call it. And
Yeah.
Couldn't get any noise out of the call.
I'll post some of the videos on Instagram because it's actually pretty funny, and I know how to out call, but my call was wet, and these reeds get real hard to use when it gets wet, and I think there's a lot of moisture in the air or something. There probably wasn't much moisture. It's probably just me blowing on it. And I'm just blowing to beat hell on this call. Can't make a sound. It's just
so I'm going to call for Garrett during elk season.
yeah.
I've got a kazoo, and I'm thinking,
Well, there's one. Gavin pointed out. He's watching the video, and I get one like shitty mirror, and then I'm still trying to get another mirror, and so before I can even get another mirror out, this bull answers back, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. But you could have farted, and that bull would have answered. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he had to sound. Obviously, he didn't have to sound that good, but I mean, it was good enough. And I've said that so many times that when it comes to elk calling, you don't have to get good. You just have to get it done. I mean, that's really about all it is. And knowing what to say and when to say it is more important than sounding really good.
well, even that bull on a couple of them didn't sound what I would call really good.
There was a lot of shitty bugles from that bull.
The typical bugle you think about, you see on whatever show, versus what he was doing was like, well, that could be a guy.
Well, when I could hear the air in the bugle, and from hunting some of these elk that just are super aggressive, and they'd be like, we hunted that bull over in Mount Emily for 4 days straight. When Shelby had the tag, after 4 days, that bull lost his voice, and he could barely get a voice out. I mean, it was just all air and scratch, and so I think these bulls have been just going hard for 2 months, and that bull probably had a great bugle a month ago. But
And it's late October.
yeah, it's almost November,
Yeah.
and it's a week from November about, I think, and it was all he could to get a bugle out, and I think he was probably the big bull. I don't know. That's all speculation, but a lot of these times late in the season, or if they're super aggressive and they love to bugle, they lose their voice. I mean, just imagine going to a rock concert yelling and then you lose your voice the next day. You're partying hard. It doesn't take a lot to lose your voice, and I think, I know for a fact that these elk can do that same thing.
So he probably just thought a cow lost her voice.
Yeah. Hey, you're like me. Come on over.
But he wouldn't move. I honestly don't think he moved a step while the other elk were working their way to the left, feeding that I was watching, and there was a couple raghorns in there. I don't think he actually moved, to be honest with you.
I don't think he did either. And there was more than one bull bugling in there, too, because I heard, because I was using the sun to gauge where that bull was, and then, say, if it would be right at noon, and then one would fire off around 10 o'clock. There'd be I've heard two completely different bulls. One sounded way better than the other one, too. But the one that you were next to, even at 300 yards or 400 yards, I could still hear his air. And that's why I think he was losing his voice, because usually that's around 80 to 60 yards. You can really start hearing the before air bugle. And I could hear that at 400. And I don't know. I think that was probably actually a good bull. He just sounded like he was a spike.
Well, and there had been one seen in there, so
330-ish bull. Yeah.
But like I said, I wasn't about to leave, and nothing's sure in elk hunting, but I wasn't about to leave a good chance.
Right.
And go for something that's.
I know you don't care about how big it was because you almost shot one of the horns off. So
yeah,
you almost turned it into a spike.
I was trying.
I was trying to do a spike hunter a favor.
That's when he was doing this with his head flopping all around. So, anyways, I was trying to do the right thing. I don't know.
Well, it's going to make for a cool story because now you and Gavin both have really nice buck. Remember that one you shot with the muzzleloader? Yeah. But that one was at 2 feet, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just trying to finish him, and he kept moving around. It's a 54
what
caliber muzzleloader, but the horn's still intact. It's with the base.
Yeah. Well, Gavin was yanking the bull around when you were hiking one of the hinds out. we were snapping. I'm like, oh shit, that horn's trying to break on him. And so we were just yarding around by his right antler instead of his left.
That was pretty fun to break a bull down together because we've
never done that.
We've never
either.
done it.
Yeah.
We've killed a few. We've
yeah,
never done it together.
And
cool.
I pretty much stayed clean the whole process. I don't know how you guys got so bloody, but
yeah, my hands were actually bloodier than Gavin's, and I was wearing gloves.
That's true.
So, but it's kind of turned full circle where I used to clean all the deer and stuff when the boys were, I don't know, 8, 10, whatever, and now.
You were on game bag duty.
Yep.
Get them ready.
And that's kind of worked out nice, although that first hump out was almost 2 miles.
One way.
One way.
It's getting longer by the hour.
What?
1.68.
Okay,
1.68.
There's no guessing here.
Yeah. But I ran back.
Oh, my
damn near
God.
7 miles.
That bull was so big, the picture weighed 8 pounds.
That's right. No, that's some fishing stories. But so we decided to go a different route, cut the distance in half.
I think that was the right choice.
Yeah.
Hiking that hind out was the right choice because that made the pack out easy.
Yeah.
That would have been hard to do if you add that even split between us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I had the heaviest pack, though, at 250.
Here we go again.
At 250 pounds, and you guys had 80. I didn't really see.
I had 80 pounds.
Yeah,
of food.
I agree. You had 52 and we had 80. Yeah, I totally
What?
agree. I totally agree with that.
250 pounds.
Oh.
I had 80 pounds of snacks.
Right. Well, let's put it this way. I have all the meat out of my pack, and he's taking it out of the back of his truck. He's like, holy shit, is there still meat in here? I'm like, nope, that's just what I hunt with.
Well, at least my pockets were lighter and didn't have so many bullets.
You hit so many bullets. There's bullets laying around camp in the grass and shit. I had to pick them up. There's 4 bullets laying around.
Like the A-team.
Well, Gavin saw his case. He's like, you couldn't see through that bullet case, but now you can.
That's okay. I got more.
Yeah, I got more. They make bullets every day.
It's like I told that other guy, I said, yeah, you can shoot 1,000 yards, but I got 400 rounds. So it's just a matter of time.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, that poor elk had more holes in it than a brick of Swiss cheese.
Yeah, little ones, though.
Amazingly, very little.
No meat damage.
Well, you lost a little.
Little bit of shoulder.
Little shoulder. But,
Bloodshot, that happens on almost all.
but to
Yeah.
send
Rifle
that many
kills.
rounds down range and have very, very, very little meat loss.
Yeah, I agree.
That's precision shooting.
That's it.
But
I just would have walked up and shot it point blank.
Yeah, maybe.
Hindsight's 20/20. Yeah. Actually, I probably just would have missed. Period. I would never even hit the bull.
On the first shot?
I would be telling you guys about how big it was.
Yeah.
It'd be 360.
It'd be a 370, 360 by now.
Well, and well, it's like last year on our mule deer hunt, that shot I took at that mule deer, that was probably the toughest shot I've ever taken a deer. It wasn't the furthest. It was only like, 200 or...
Oh, the Idaho buck?
Yeah, or 250 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you...
He had me to put it down for him. So.
Yeah. But that was a tough shot. I mean, extremely tough.
Yeah, that was a good shot. I'm surprised you hit it.
I mean, it was tough, but you stopped it before it went over the other side, which
luckily
would have been bad.
Luckily, I
still a 5 mile pack out.
It was
literally.
Yeah, that was a pack. That was a bad pack.
But
all the meat was going down. I had all the weight. I didn't load the meat very good. It was all sagging down below the pack, and so all the meat was down by my butt. So that was stupid. But we actually took our times to wrap the meat up proper in our packs this time. I got the new K3, which I think is actually more comfortable than the K2. You got the Mystery Ranch
Metcalf.
Met with an M?
M-N. Met. M-E-T.
Metcalf. And
Metcalf.
That looked like a pretty nice pack.
Very nice pack. I just got to get it better fitted to myself.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times you got to get the torso length fitted.
Yeah.
That's probably where you're.
It's definitely off, but it's a very nice pack.
Yeah. No, I was pretty impressed with it. I was handling it and messing with
all that weight it carried.
All 80 pounds.
Yeah.
On the left pocket.
In the left pocket. Jesus. So, well, is there anything you guys want to say before we wrap this thing up? I kind of want to do an elk recap, and since this is the first time in 30 years that any of us have hunted with each other in Eastern Oregon and elk. There's a lot of firsts on this trip.
I thought it was awesome to have a rifle hunt where they bugle.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty awesome.
I do like that part.
That's pretty cool.
But like I said, and a month down the road, a year down the road, I may rethink it, but I like doing my own thing with, muzzleloader or whatever, staying away from people and still seeing lots of elk. You have to hunt this, you have to be comfortable and let a lot of things go to hunt this with all the people.
Yeah.
And not draw a tag for a few years. Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think some people hunt this every year regardless, but that's my own opinion.
Yeah. I just cannot miss 4 muzzleloader seasons.
Yeah, because
to potentially get it once or twice.
We've been pretty successful at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, I think it was a good tag, and I had a great time hunting with you guys, and I feel stupid for not having us put something together earlier. It took you asking us to both come, and I had more than enough vacation because I didn't get my freaking Idaho tag this year. So, long overdue, and I'm glad we all made it happen.
Well, typical fashion for you and I, we left Tuesday at 3:30 in the morning?
3:30 in the morning.
And we put that plan together Monday night at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really well planned.
But, I enjoy it. And like I said, the bull's nice. I mean, I had fun, don't get me wrong. But it's over. I mean, so we're probably heading home tomorrow, which, and that's fine. You got other things to do. But it was still fun, a couple of nights, and stuff. And I'm still hoping we get to watch a good, bad movie.
Yeah.
We'll put one on.
You don't have, Thanksgiving or anything, do you?
No, but I would highly recommend it to anyone loving good, bad movies. It's worth watching now that they got your attention.
Yeah. Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Not number 2 or 3, but that's number 1.
Yeah, and we're saying it's a good, bad movie.
Yeah.
It sucks. Sucks so bad it's funny it's good.
Okay. I'll go with that.
Just like Sharknadoes.
Sharknado, it's
along those lines.
It's like Sharknado, but 10 times worse.
Oh, you're being a little harsh.
Isn't one of them in black and white?
No.
No?
You just didn't have the
Should
audio
be.
input in.
But, all right, well, I appreciate you guys coming on the podcast and letting me I know Gavin's trying to just keep his eyes awake probably right now.
No, I'm good. I'll get 10 minutes of the movie.
5 minutes of the I bet that thing hits play and you're already asleep. And actually got Dad to drink a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of lessons learned. Because, I don't know.
My closing thoughts would be, if you are going to be hunting in a high-pressured area, be ready to roll with the punches. Know what you're getting into.
Be friendly.
and be
Best you
friendly.
can.
And when you
Communicate.
run into somebody and clearly you both have the same intentions, communicate.
Because we walked past that truck with this
We walked past
Screw
that
those
truck with
guys
like, what the
attitude,
F? Yeah,
pissed off, and then got up to the top, and you guys talked and
Yeah.
debriefed, and
And I'm
calmed down
like,
for
you
a
know
second.
what? I started thinking, I always try and think from the other side. And I'm like, I've been super pissed when people walk right past my truck. And right now, you could argue that I'm that guy. They were parked, if I was them telling that story, we were parked here. You could just leave out my truck being parked there. And I would be that guy.
And I get it because people do use decoy rigs, like just to show that someone's going to be at that spot.
And then not be there.
And not be there. I mean, your pickup was iced over
Right.
because we did it the night before, but at the same time, it's like that's us claiming stake to that spot. But I think you guys did the right thing by going down, knocking on the window. Hey, here's what we're going to do. And, I mean, I would say they're friendly now. I mean, they just stopped by their camp to show us their bull on the way home.
Offered us beer and everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know if you even call it hypocrisy of claiming a public land spot. How's that work? I mean, that doesn't work. Legally, it has no foot
No.
to stand on.
But there's a difference between what's legal, what's morally and ethically right.
Is it ethically okay to leave a truck parked at a blocked road?
And that's a question you can get as many answers as people you ask.
Right.
I
was just hoping it would keep a bunch of people out of there and, not running on 2 hours of sleep, be able to get some sleep and not have to worry about somebody being in there.
But I think that's where it comes in to do the right thing. So, like, we did that, and then we sleep in a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean we still left here just
You
after
guys
5.
were up at 3:30.
Yeah, I can't sleep anyway. But, like, it was just...
we're still up there an hour and a half before.
Yeah, we're still up
before
there.
daylight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While we left to pick up there for 12 hours the night before. So, is it wrong to park a rig and claim a spot? I would say no, but my whole takeaway was they pulled in front of your rig knowing that rig was there, then they have to accept that we're going to walk right by them. That was my perception of the situation.
Yeah.
You can hunt here too. Absolutely. It's your right. But there's a reason that pickup's there.
Right.
And so that was just my perception on it.
Yeah, and theirs was it's a decoy truck.
Yeah, and that's fair because they could assume that, hey, these guys aren't even going to come in here.
Right.
Because this truck has been clearly sitting here for all night.
Right.
And they're just trying to keep people out, so that's where I see both sides, and I think that's where going back and talk to him was the right thing.
Yeah, and Dad scared the shit out of Tim. I knocked on his window and he
nicely though.
about hit the roof.
But even with 3 trucks there, that other guy pulled in.
Yeah, that
The fourth
one,
truck is probably the
That's a little
biggest.
tipping point there.
Yeah, the fourth one's the
that's
biggest
just
issue.
getting silly. And the guy,
All you're doing, and all he did was just to go up there to watch his son walk through a couple ridges. He didn't even have a radio.
really.
Yeah, he was just
No
up there.
gun, no radio.
gun, no radio, just creating a distraction or noise or whatever.
Just another body
Yeah, well,
where you don't want a body.
yeah, I
It's-
get it.
That's
I
one of
get
those things too that I've seen is how many people is it okay to have when you're all non-tag holders?
Right. I've seen
that.
groups of youth hunters with 5 people on one tag holder,
Right.
6 people on one tag holder.
So it's like,
It's like,
what do you do?
Is this a family reunion?
But like I said, moral and ethics, it's subjective at best or at
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
I mean, what's right for one person may not work for the other one.
Yeah.
But if you give the other guy a chance to at least hear your side or hear his side, her side, at least you have a fighting chance. But if you just go half-cocked
Right.
and say, screw that guy, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that or I'm not going to go here, then you both lose. Nobody gets an elk. Nobody gets along. And you miss out.
Right.
And then everyone killed elk today now.
Well, the cool thing is that when they came back to see what Dad had killed, where I'm like, if I was you guys, I'd be back out that same point. And they're like, yeah, we were thinking about that kind of thing. And I think that's what they were going to do. And when they came back and they had that bull in the back of the truck and we're like, we went up that same spot. We glassed up your guys' gut pile. And then right across the other side, there was a bull standing there. And so we shot it. And I was like, wow, that's a good spot. Hey, no, maybe there's a reason there's, a bunch of people in there. But, yeah, I mean, it was like I said, best case scenario out of a really potentially shitty scenario for wanting to kill something. I mean, adding another guy with a tag in there in a really small area with a bunch of other guys that have tags in there is not anybody's bread and butter when it comes to
And I just know my personality, and that's why I didn't go down to the rig, because I don't take very well to that. So it's like
Doesn't play well with others.
No, my whole thing is like, I'll be nice first.
Yeah.
And definitely give it a try. But if it doesn't go well, I will ruin your entire week of hunting.
I will hunt you down.
Well, I'll shoot coyotes all week long. Like,
oh my gosh!
Like we're going to do
still
tonight
elk
at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, so it's just like I'll hike wherever. Okay, fine. You're parked there. I'm parked here too.
Yeah.
You know, I just won't show. So it's just showing respect when you get respect back. I thought that was pretty neat.
Mutual. Yeah. Well, that's my takeaway, and hopefully, guys can up the communication out there when they run into certain things. I'm not saying your experience is going to be the same. Ours, I would say, was actually a great experience because it was so good. They came by and showed us their bowl and wanted to have a beer, and I thought that was pretty badass from not knowing somebody in the morning in a shitty situation, and then them coming back, and everybody's all happy, smiles, and we got 2 bowls on the ground. They got a bowl, we got a bowl, and it was no harm, no foul, and Tim could have went after that bugle just as easy as we could have.
I was thinking about that too. It's like they could have said, well, we're going.
Yep. Yeah, and he's like, when he came back, he's like, we didn't go after the bugle because you guys heard it, and that was your deal. So we wanted to respect that, and that means a lot to me personally.
When I heard that first bugle, I went over there and I saw those guys, and I said, hey, come over. I think there's a bowl. And he's like, well, let's wait for your brother and dad to catch up.
Yeah, did. Oh, really?
That's what he said.
Yeah, see, to me, that's class.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you listening, and Dad, and appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Well, thank you, boys, for coming over here with the old man.
So pretty much he's going to say thank you for spotting it, cleaning it, calling it, packing it, and he's the
everything
trigger.
but driving.
He's the trigger man.
Yeah, and technically I paid for dinner.
Technically you did. Happy birthday.
You're welcome.
You left a good tip.
Hopefully it was under 15%.
What was the name of that place? That was a great place to eat.
Was it Charlie's Buns? Or
I don't know.
God dang, I don't remember.
It's on the pizza box, but
yeah, it's right across from this weird rental shitty. I'm like, I shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't say that.
What are you doing? We don't know.
It's right across. The lady in there was super nice, but I wouldn't order pizza from
You'll have
there.
to put it in the description or something.
Matter of fact, she told us to go across the street.
Yeah,
for
she sold pizza, and she's like, I go across the street.
So
so when I say shitty, I have a leg to stand
that's
on.
all you need to know.
But God dang, what was that place?
I don't think I ever knew.
Something DVD rentals, and they had pizza and smoothies and
Something Hut was
Clam
the place I went
chowder.
to.
clam chowder. When your specialty is rental DVDs, then pizza, clam chowder, smoothies, soda,
Yeah,
And
go
you
across
refer-
the street.
and
Yeah.
and we sell it by the slice. That is a high warning.
And you refer your pizza sales to your neighbor.
Actually,
Here's
the first
your
referral was 15 miles down the road. I'm like, I'm not driving 15 miles down the road for pizza. And then I'm like, and then she's like, well, the place across the street has pretty good pizza. I'm like, let's do that.
They did. They were nice people, good service.
The food was really good. Yeah,
Well, spendy, but
yeah. $60 for dinner.
For 3.
For 3.
But you ordered a pizza for 5.
I ordered. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that big, and So
You've always had a problem with size, but anyway.
I had to keep it G-rated when she showed him what 10 inches looked like. I was like, oh, I ain't seen that before. That's when we were laughing so hard, and you're like, what? And I'm like, forget about it.
What did I say? Well, how big is the 10-inch
Yeah, and
pizza?
And Dad and I both looked at each other, and it's just like,
Well, is it 10 pieces, 10 inches in circumference or in diameter? 'Cause
Diameters.
That is a very big difference. So when they say it's a 15-inch pizza, it's 15 inches from the center to the outside.
diameters, is from my understanding.
Oh,
Side to side.
Side to side, yeah.
I'll be damned.
Plate edge, plate edge.
Oh, copy. Yeah.
I'm going to take my cutter, and it is this long.
Okay. Yeah. So I was thinking circumference. I'm like, that's not a very big pizza.
So, but when you think about it, and you put it in it's a round pizza you put in a square box, it's cut into triangles. So, you got everything covered.
Sure.
Anyways,
That's almost exactly right.
almost not.
So, all right. Well, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you haven't yet, be sure to check out the YouTube channel. Just type in my name in the YouTube search bar, Garrett Weaver, or you can type in whatever. But if you type in my name, I'll pull right up, and we're going to be doing a lot of bow reviews, a lot of gear reviews here with all the new gear coming out and bows coming out. and definitely wanting to grow that. And if you want, leave us a review on iTunes. If you want to help the show grow, there's multiple ways to do it. Reviews on iTunes help. Patreon members definitely help fund the podcast, buy new gear. I just bought a new mic thanks to the Patreon members. There's a lot of cool things that you can do if you want to support the podcast, and every little bit helps. So leave a review on iTunes, 5 stars the highest. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, start watching the videos on there, and or become a patron at www.patreon.com/onpointpodcast, or go join the emailing list on onpointpodcast.com. Please subscribe to the email newsletter, which I'm way behind on, by the way. I know I said July, and that is out the window. Trying to put together the first one. There's way more to it than I thought. So that is still planned. That is still coming around, but it might be a little bit later than what I was expecting, because it already is. But outside of that, guys, appreciate you listening to the episode, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.